A monumental shift is happening towards the end of March. Saturn, the planet of karma and material manifestation, is changing signs. For the first time in 30 years almost, it is moving to its most favorite sign in Aquarius, where it can do the best according to ancient astrology. And what does it mean for you personally? It means that the end of a serious problems in your life. For many of you, towards the end of March and April, you'll see the end of certain troubles, of certain situations that were too complicated, that were too restraining, or that were too limiting in some way. The end of certain responsibilities, the completion of certain responsibilities and the results of them, but also moving into a totally new set of priorities and important lessons that you have to learn. The start of a new bunch of karmic lessons with Saturn moving in Aquarius, which will actually give very good results by the end of this period. It's going to take about 2.5 years for you to see the results. It's almost like while Saturn was in Capricorn, you were building the foundations, you were building the structure of something, you were disciplining yourself. And when it moves to Aquarius, you're going to now build the infrastructure, you're going to build the connections and the networking to achieve that goal or that that great work. So there will be a refocusing, a change of directions for all of you gradually from the end of March, from one set of priorities and difficulties to solve and lessons to master to another set of priorities and lessons to master, which will end up in the fulfillment of a great work, in the achievement of a great work for you. So exciting times, guys. March also brings Mercury going direct. So great news, 2 planets in their own sign. So listen what's going to happen for each of the 12 signs. Plus, we are doing an apprenticeship, so our second apprenticeship, one-on-one with a tutor, with an amazing astrologer, the best astrologer I've ever seen, with the best predictive techniques, Victor. It's his second apprenticeship. We already had our first apprenticeship group, but you work one-on-one with the teacher, graduate, and out of that apprenticeship group, 4 people are going to be working with us, will be astrologers that you will see that they will do videos with us. So if you'd like to have a chance to work with us with Astroladder, or just to learn astrology as a master, come and join us for this apprenticeship. Very few people, he cannot take many because he works one-on-one with them, and it's 30 or 20% off till the 20th of March. So Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, especially the rising sign, is always, as I say, this is how professional astrologers look at your chart, from the rising sign, and then the Moon, and then the Sun. Okay, so March, let's first look at the general influences of March. Only specific to March, and then we're going to go to Saturn changing signs, which will affect you for 3 years ahead. So specifically in March, good news is Mercury, the planet that rules you Virgos, is turning direct around the 10th of March. So any delays, any complications, and any extra efforts you have to put, or surprises or unexpected developments that have been happening, especially in regards to your work or in regards to your relationships, when Mercury was retrograde in both, will start straightening out from the 7th. So if there were some delays with work projects or some issues with health, the 6th house, that were kind of bugging you, or surprises there, or surprises with your daily routines, like you had something in plan, but it got like, well, Mercury was retrograde, you at moments like you have planned this, but something else will come. Such kind of surprises come. Mercury was also retrograde in your 7th house, yes. So if there was some problems and with communications with others, if there was some things from the past coming up that you had to work through, if there was some testing of a relationship, if there were some important conversations that you had to do with partners to decide how to improve that relationship, or if there is no cooperation from both sides, sometimes partnerships or relationships can end when Mercury is retrograde in the 7th house. It's rare, but it can. Usually it just wants to improve, to make a relationship more balanced, to make it more fair, so to speak, when Mercury and when Mercury turns direct, so from March, from the middle onwards, you're going to see that relationships are coming back to normal. If there was some delays with contracts or agreements or business deals, they'll start moving forward. If you have to work with a partner on something extra hard, putting energy, fixing, editing something, you'll start seeing the results of those from the moment Mercury starts moving direct. Okay, then you have Venus. It's going to be in its own sign, which means it really manifests positively there in your ninth house. So what positive thing can you expect in March where that happens with ease, that give you pleasure? Maybe a journey or a trip to a foreign country or to a different state. That can be quite nice and enjoyable with Venus transiting your ninth house. Another thing is something positive in education. Maybe you can really enjoy in March, reading inspirational books, reading or taking some crash courses, seminars, webinars. These are all ninth house matters, because Venus gives you pleasure where it's there, when it's there. It makes you enjoy that. And the ninth house is the house of self-knowledge, is the house of higher wisdom. So you enjoy such kind of more high-minded, high cultural activities. You might enjoy connecting with people from foreign countries, or people, erudite and intelligent people. The ninth house rules all those. People with, you might have some positive experiences with a teacher, or a person can appear in your life who gives you soothing advice. Venus is soothing, makes you feel content, makes you feel happier, by giving you a different perspective or a higher perspective about the matter, by giving you wise counsel that gives you more positivity, more optimism of sort as well. So listen to advice that comes to you, especially from women, or because Venus rules women, or from loved ones. Venus rules people that we love, because they would act like teachers, like God's voice for you in March, and can tell some wise advice, or can be like, and also ninth house is, as I said, foreigners or people far away. You can, even Venus rules love. Some of you might connect to love with someone in a faraway place, or can have a loving experience with a partner traveling, or you can even meet love if you're looking for love in some, either abroad or while traveling, or in some educational forum, or in some educational or course or seminar, or learning some high knowledge of some sort. Or you can just experience a lot of joy and pleasure and contentment from such activities: high-minded, traveling, education, high knowledge, learning astrology, or things like that. All right, now what else? And I think it's when Venus is in another earth sign, it makes you feel more lovable. It makes you love, and it's in a self house. The ninth house is a self house. So the knowledge that you're going to attain now can make you love yourself more, can make you be more at peace with yourself and who you are. Okay, then we have Mars is going to be exalted, great position. Again, can give great results in another earth sign, another self house, in the fifth house, Virgos. And is going to join Jupiter. And Saturn is leaving your fifth house. You're like, talk to me in normal language. What are those astrology terms? In summary, complications and delays in your love life. From the end of March, they disappear. A dry spell in your love life, if you had such. Or some karmic experiences that hit you hard in your love life over the last 2 years. Can leave you now, can leave your self-confidence. I had my sister-in-law is a Virgo, and she had such hits on her self-confidence because of dating experiences over the past 2 years, which with Saturn in this fifth house of love and dating. And it made her really reconsider who she lets in, what her rules for dating are, to really look, because the fifth house is ultimately a self house, because how lovable we feel really much depends on, and dateable, how much we accept and love ourselves again. So it makes us look within and try to change our self-confidence, but it's through the hard way. Saturn transiting in Capricorn, but this is finishing. Saturn is leaving this fifth house. Whatever blows to your ego you had over the last 2 years, you'll be released from that. And it's almost like you come out more mature, with more mature attitude towards love, um, towards love towards yourself as well. If there were some complications with children, some delays, or some also fifth house rules children, or too heavy responsibilities connected to children, or blockages, or not only love life children, but also creative project, if they were quite demanding and heavy and slow. You know, Saturn moving out of your seventh house will make sure that those problems are lifted off for the next 3 months from you. It will come back again to your seventh house from July till December for a last peak, like to say, oh, let's see what you've done. But it's kind of the end of, you start to see the end of that tunnel. And often Saturn transiting the fifth house can make one reconnect or redo a past romantic relationship from the past. Sometimes Saturn is moving out of there, so blockages to romantic life disappear. Plus, a new cycle is starting in your fifth house, Jupiter-Mars cycle, which continues for about 2.5 years till the next time Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter meet, but they won't meet anymore in your fifth house. Then they'll meet, I think, in your seventh house. Then, so a new cycle starts, a new fresh energy is being poured, way more excitable, way more lively into your love life, into your fun life. Fifth house is also to have fun. When Saturn transits there for about 2 years, Virgos probably felt quite constipated. They could not have much fun because of work responsibilities or duties, because of children or something. And they kind of maybe felt more stiff upper lip. Or, for example, for some, they might have tried to regulate how they have fun. Stop drinking, or, you know, don't gamble or whatever, especially because Saturn wants to remove the unhealthy way of having fun and of enjoying yourself. And people start having more self-control when Saturn, or they're forced to have more self-control with who you date, how you have fun, whether you, you know, how you spend your leisure time, to be more focused, to be more self-disciplined and control. And Saturn moves out of there. It seems like you have almost learned that lesson now. And now the universe says, okay, you've done the hard self-restricting thing about love and romance and about having fun, and about restructuring your ego and restructuring your self-confidence, self-esteem, which is the fifth house again. So now I'm going to give you some blessings. Now I'm gonna make you enjoy this newfound self and this newfound personality, this newly founded personality that you've been kind of was like doing over the past 2 years with deprivation. So now it's kind of like time for reward. Jupiter Mars conjunction, and only Jupiter stays now for the next 3 months in your fifth house of romance and fun. Fun times is starting. More confident times are starting for you guys. Jupiter brings opportunity, Mars makes you act on them. It can bring a romantic interest and you're gonna act on them. Jupiter and Mars create a combination of wealth and abundance. It can bring an opportunity for speculative investments, fifth house, almost like gambling or something, or some to do some investment in that can bring you, for example, you invest $5 and you make $100 out of it. You know, that is not like, oh, 5% return per year. These are like sudden, it's almost like the lottery type of thing. It can bring an opportunity for some of you Virgos who have such karma already positive, that they can, if they have a good fifth house naturally, which means they just look back from gambling and from are you lucky in such situations. So you've made a small investment, you bought something, and kind of it raised its value 10 times, you know, after that. If you've had such before experiences, now you can come across like quite big such opportunity. For example, you can, so if such an opportunity comes for some investment, for some, we call it speculative type of investment, I would advise you to take it from the end of March, when Saturn moves out and it's just Jupiter and Mars, because you can be lucky and it might, like within the next 2 years, it can bring returns. Also, it can, as I said, it can indicate that a new creative idea comes to you, a new creative spark comes into your life. something new, fun things to do that you really enjoy way more, that are not like you having to restrict yourself or how you're having fun with Saturn transiting the fifth house. Now it's more like you really can start enjoying life again. You can really also start noticing there is a spark around you. You feel like there is enthusiasm, spark, more life around you. There's either a refreshment of spark of your love life. You're wanting to become more romantic and you're taking chances and risks with that, and becoming more entertaining generally. Or if you're not into all this romantic stuff, if you're married, it just can be a renewal of the romantic part, or just you starting to have more fun with your partner, starting to do some hobbies that are more extreme, doing new things that are exciting, that brings back the spark. If you're single and you don't care about romance, and someone can appear still, but if you're at that age that you don't care about that, it's just like you start getting excited about life. You start finding life more magical, full of opportunities and new hobbies, new interests type of thing that spark your life. It can also be improvement of relationship with children or your child if it's been having difficulties for a couple of years while Mars is there, or just having to work hard on something. Now with Jupiter and Mars in March, and then for 3 months just Jupiter there, it can indicate like you can start seeing the results of your child's effort. So burden can be lifted from their shoulders. So from your relationship with your child, it can be revived, resparked in some way. And of course, it's creative activities. New creative ideas can come to you. New creative projects can start flowing for you. Take them, and they'll have a lot less. Maybe you have to be a bit more organized in the summer, from July till December, when Saturn comes back in the fifth, but for now you'll be free. And Saturn is moving to your sixth house for 3 months from the end of March, which means that for the next 3 months, and then from December 2020 for 2 years after that, a new set of lessons, a new set of a new area of life to master appears, and to be more meticulous, more methodical in. And that's the sixth house. Virgos, and that's very familiar territory for you. Actually, a lot of Virgos will thrive in that period, because the sixth house is health, is order, is organization. So Saturn will try and make you, if you're not already organized and healthy, he will awaken your organizational ability, your ability to put order in your life and everything around you, to streamline, to remove the things that are no longer necessary. But if you already have that, you just become way more, and it's also about, Saturn can increase the workload when it's in the sixth house, and it does it so you can realize what your priorities are. And for example, you can, from working 8 hours, you might have to work 12 hours, like you're given more responsibilities and duties and work. But the what the goal here is for you to learn to organize in such a way to streamline your work that you just remove, because Saturn wants to remove the extra unnecessary work that's just wasting your time. The ultimate goal, first it increases it, but the ultimate goal is to help you organize yourself better. So what, you spend 5 hours checking emails, and 3 hours just doing the thing that actually is most pivotal to your business. Well, now it can make you, for example, decide that you're not going to do certain area, because it increases the workload, increases the pressure, the responsibilities, the feeling of deadlines and stuff increases. So you're like, okay, you have to focus really on the most when it comes to your work or your daily duties. Even if you don't work, you have responsibilities at home, and they start piling up when Saturn transits the sixth house, and make you really focus. Maybe find a help at home, or maybe make you have some system of organization that's better, or at your work, whatever responsibilities and duties you have, Saturn will ask you over the next 2 years to streamline them. Also over the next 2 years, 2.5 years, but for the first 3 months, you'll see a glimpse. You can become fanatical about your health, and this is fantastic time for that. Saturn is very serious, is very responsible. Sixth house is what you do wrong for your health to suffer. And naturally, Virgos are already quite careful with their health, but when Saturn enters the sixth house, they have to be extra careful. If you have, for example, been eating the wrong foods, especially Virgos have very sensitive intestines. The sixth house in Virgo, it rules the intestines. Uh, so that's why Saturn can help you over the next 2-3 years have like fasting regime, start some other health routine that cleanses your guts, because 75% of all illnesses start from the gut, basically what we eat and the bacteria in our intestines start from the intestines basically. Even diseases like we thought have nothing to do like that, like Alzheimer's, dementia, it's starting to prove that actually starts with the intestines, what's there. So a lot of you might awaken to way more healthier and become very focused on putting in control and order their health, into putting restrictions. And I've seen when if people stop a bad habit when Saturn transits the sixth house, and often they push towards that or stop certain way of eating or start more consistent exercise, and they do it for health reasons, not so much because they want to have big muscles and look sexy. If they do it when Saturn is in the sixth house, they stick with it for life. So that's, you're going to start seeing those urges to really start changing your health, to really start looking more seriously into your health issues, because if you don't, usually Saturn can flare up some and start some chronic conditions. And if such starts appearing, you can fix them, because health issues that appear during Saturn in the sixth house, they're caused by the lifestyle you have. They're not karmic, they're not something connected to bad genes, they're your lifestyle, and you can change it by changing the lifestyle. So it's fantastic time to start really working hard and researching such topics, gradually, little by little, restructuring those habits of yours. And a lot of Virgos will find it quite enjoyable, quite, maybe not enjoyable, but quite aligned to who they are. As I said, the workload increases as well, but I think that even if it increases, Saturn transiting its own sign, Aquarius, can give really good results. So you can get a lot of done over the next 2-3 years. You can build you can, and it's usually, it's not time to so much add new things to the business, especially now those 3 months. It's more like to remove the unnecessary things. You're going to add new things to your work or your business in 2021, when Jupiter also joins Saturn in the sixth house. This will be amazing, very powerful year for your work life. Maybe a lot of people start new jobs then, or a next step in their career with responsibility, but also rewards. But first comes the responsibilities more with Saturn in the sixth house only. Saturn can make you work hard on some debt. Sixth house rules debt, to pay off a debt, to start kind of figuring out a clever or intelligent way. That might take a couple of years or 3 years to get yourself out of debt, or to manage and control debt more easily. Also, any careers connected to military, to medical field, connected to service, to social services, connected to sorry, like debt as well, or health issues or training. They such people can really build a very powerful foundation in their career over the next 2-3 years, starting with the first 3 months in 2020. Because Saturn wants to stabilize such careers, which are sixth house careers. But any kind of work is Saturn. So the work, yes, the workload will increase. There can be some blockages to overcome, some difficulties to overcome, but the final results can be very stable foundation there, you proving yourself in a powerful way by 2021, 22. All right, so there's a lot more to talk about that, but this video will become too long. Thank you so much, Virgo. Hope that was helpful to you. You can check out my 2020 videos where I speak way more in depth about Virgo. It's a 90-minute video about each month, each important position, and what to keep in mind. And it's only available for another month. Thank you.